We are good.
Beautiful.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time zone you happen to be in. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide, online advanced Toastmasters Club. Our club mission, we provide a positive and supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Core values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence.
And let us introduce our fearless leader. Or is our fearless leader? Rosemary Sweeney, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. SSA Toastmaster Alex. This evening, I noticed that the word of the day is divergent. And we are going to have a divergent meeting from what we normally have. This will be our first meeting in the evening, 1 hour meeting. We are going to be considerably scaled down, but this is what our members wanted, and we have to go with the flow of the members' needs. And we have a few guests. Can we hear from our guests who invited you, and how did you hear about our meeting? Let me see. Our guests. Well, we know Rohan, but Rohan, can you tell us?
Yeah, sure. So my name is
Rowan's not a
Rowan.
guest. Can
I
you
saw a
take
G at the front of
That's
Rohan's
my
name.
fault.
Yeah,
That's
can
my
we
fault.
take the G off? You can introduce yourself, Rowan, but you're not a guest.
Because
You're
it's
a
been a
member.
while, Rowan.
That's my fault. Sorry about that, Ron.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
good. Well, I guess anyways, I'm Rowan King, and I'm calling in from Santa Barbara. And today I'm going to be doing an evaluation, but yeah, I'm excited to be here and participate again. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We need to see you more often. Okay, we have an area director in our midst, Toastmaster Lynch Watts.
Thank you, Madam President, and to all the other executive members, Toastmasters, and guests. I am a guest who's not quite a guest. I'm a frequent flyer by this time, and I do assist on a regular basis with the flyers or some of the flyers that are produced. I had the opportunity to be with you all this evening, and so I took that opportunity. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to the rest of the meeting.
Thank you for coming. And we will call now Rona, who is soon to be a Toastmaster. She will tell us about her and who invited her.
There you go. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me, Madam Toastmaster Sweeney. It has been a pleasure being welcomed with such kindness, and it feels like one family, one unit. And I look forward to contributing and absorbing as much as I can in tonight's meeting. Thank you again.
Welcome, welcome. And our ever-loving Judith, we are just waiting on her to say go. So her G it doesn't only mean guest, it also means go. So tell us a little about you.
Greetings from Santa Monica. We survived the storm, and that is my news. We had a big storm yesterday named Hillary. But I always knew that any storm that's named Hillary is not going to be devastating. That's just my theory about this particular storm. So we have a very beautiful day, and thank you for having me here.
always look forward to your presence being here with us. So that's why I said the G also means go, because you're going to show us that you will become a member very soon. And at this time, well, this is our first meeting. As I said, our 5:30 meeting, we are starting half an hour earlier so that we could finish half an hour earlier. It will also be a change in that our meeting will be for only 1 hour. And so we are going to ensure that we still live here filled with whatever we used to get in 2 hours, we will be getting it in that 1 hour. So because we are still energetic, dynamic, and looking forward to having a great meeting. At this time, I will call on our Toastmaster of the day. Let us make her feel welcome. Another area director. Oh, how blessed we are. D. Mary King.
So good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to our esteemed guest. Our theme for the meeting this evening is the path less traveled. And when you think about that, you can't help but think about the author, Robert Frost, who wrote the poem, The Path Less Traveled. He came to a quandary in the road where there were two divergents that he could have taken one, and he had to make a choice. But I'm going to explain to you tonight that our choices are already made for us. All we have to do is reach out and touch them. Our word of the day is divergent, and it means, which is also in the chat, moving away from what is expected. And that's what Judith just talked about. Everybody expected Hillary to just go through and wreak havoc, but Hillary didn't do quite as much as they thought, and we're all very glad for that. We're going to be listening to two speeches today. One will be a 5 to 7 minute speech, and at which time our timer will be showing us the color green at 5 minutes. And he will show us the color yellow at 6 minutes. Then at 7 minutes, he will show us the color red. And the speaker has 30 seconds in which to finalize that speech. We also have a 4 to 6 minute speech because one of our members has elected to do Pathway, where she is actually giving her icebreaker speech. So at 4 minutes, we'll see green. At 5 minutes, we'll see yellow. And at 6 minutes, we'll see red. And that speaker will have 30 seconds to wrap up her speech. The first speaker that we have today will be speaking from Motivational Strategies, Level 1, her icebreaker speech. And that speaker is Maya Catherine. And the speech is titled, Meet Maya. And let me tell you a little bit about Maya before we allow her to introduce herself to us. Maya Catherine is an emotional health and emotional wellness expert and advocate. She's an author, speaker, certified emotional intelligence practitioner, and writing coach. Maya believes that anyone can thrive in life, even after hardship, with emotional healing and mindset realignment. Maya is passionate about guiding those who, like her, wish to share their stories to motivate, inspire, and empower others. And the title of her speech is Meet Maya. Maya Catherine, you have the floor.
Thank you. I want to start with 2 quick questions for you, if you would indulge me. How many of you have seen me speak here before? Okay. And how many of you remember my first icebreaker? Oh, okay, good. Because I was going through the title of my speech today and I said, Meet Maya. How am I going to achieve that when I'm speaking in front of people who already know me? And then I decided to be creative and we are going to have a game. Who's up for a game? It's going to be 5 truths and a lie. Meet Maya Catherine. And I promise you, at the end, I will tell you which one is the little white lie. So I am really happy to be here today, and I want to talk about my journey to Toastmasters. How did I get here? Well, since I was very young, I knew that speaking was part of my life purpose. I was very, very shy, but I always felt empowered when I had a chance to speak in front of small groups. And then one day, one of the nuns in my school was celebrating a milestone. I think it was 50 years as a nun, and they selected me to give the speech. I remember until this day the excitement that I felt in front of a crowd of, I think it was over 1,000. So I've always known that I wanted to be a speaker. That's info number 1. That journey didn't really match well with info number 2, which is my love of NASA and space and me wanting to be an astronaut. I wanted that. I loved space since I was a young child, and I looked at videos of astronauts and what they did, and I explored space. And I really said that my career had to be into space. However, convenience and location were an issue for me, especially because I went to college in a place that was unfamiliar to me. So it's right that I ended up doing finance. And in finance, there were a lot of twists and turns, which ended up being some of the most beautiful gifts I ever had. Info number 3. My finance career led me to work internationally, where I got to experience different cultures. And it was wonderful for me because I speak several languages, and I always look for myself in others. Some people travel and they look to see what makes them different. Me, I like to find what makes me like everybody else, what makes us one, and what unites us. So it was always a pleasure for me to discover a little piece of me in everybody else and a little piece of everybody in myself. I did that for a while until, info number 4, family came. And I was married at the time, and we wanted to expand the family. So I had to say bye to my finance career, and I said it with joy. I said bye with joy. It was a decision I will never regret. And I came into finance, and that led up to 2 career changes. One from the finance and another one from the one after the finance, which was a sales career, which led me to where I am today. In front of you, as author Maya Catherine, speaker, author, writing coach. And I am glad to be in Toastmasters because I know that as much as I have a passion for speaking, I also need to have the skills to be an effective and unforgettable speaker. This is really info number 5. What's next for me? Well, I have a goal that I will share with you, and I keep it close to my heart, but I wish to touch 1.6 billion lives in the next 10 years and help them heal emotionally and reconnect with the joy, the fulfillment, and the love within. I believe that whatever we go through in life or whatever we did doesn't stop us from deserving and living the life of our dreams. And now, as promised, what was the little lie? I never really wanted to be an astronaut. I've always wanted to speak, and I chose finance because it was either that or medical school. But still, I still love space until this day, and it's still a part of me. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Wow. That was a very unique way of telling us and introducing us to Maya. And now we have our second speaker. And that person is Carrie Kelly. She's also an area director. Her speech is coming from Pathways Visionary Communication Level 3. It's an elective. Connect with your audience, and it's a 5 to 7 minute speech.
Can we have a 1 minute of silence for our new evaluator so he can make his notes?
Not on the agenda, and I didn't know if we had eliminated that in trying to do the 1 hour.
It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda there. It's in the writing.
Okay, so
yeah, we have to
1 minute of
have 1 minute of
silence,
silence.
Mr.
Yeah.
Timer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Time's up.
Thank you, Mr. Tyler. And we have a perfect example of what can happen on a path less traveled. We're changing over to 1 hour, and I simply assumed that we were eliminating the 1 minute time. However, just as Robert Frost was at a quandary, when he came to that divergent road, you have to make a choice and a decision. And it's sometimes very easy to realign yourself and to continue on. And as I had started, I was going to give you the title of Carrie Kelly's speech, which is This Little Light. Let me give you an introduction of Carrie first. Carrie is sharing about her little light in this speech to demonstrate how her little light grew on its own until she was aware of it enough to guide it and then to share it with others. Carrie Kelly, this little light, Carrie Kelly, you have the floor.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light was inside of me at creation. And the thing about this light is that no matter how much darkness it was surrounded by, it still never went out. It stayed lit while I was being given up by my birth mother when I was 3 days old, and I was not even given a name. It stayed lit when I was 14 months old, and I suffered an injury that caused me to lose some of my eyesight. It was shaken baby syndrome and a traumatic brain injury from having my head bashed, where fluid built up on my brain, and I didn't get medical attention for 10 whole days. It stayed lit when I went back into foster care and I got adopted again when I was 4 years old. And that was another abusive family. However, no matter how much darkness there was surrounding me, this light stayed lit. As my life began to brighten up and brighten up and brighten up and brighten up, this light got a little bit bigger. And it stayed lit through my tumultuous teenage years when I was so busy thinking that my life was no better than the trash that I actually tried to throw it away. All the way through my 20s. It wasn't until I was about 30 that I realized that my life has some value and that I can actually share this light with other people. And what happens when I share this light with other people, it begins to grow. And other people can find out just how bright their light is. My light kept me from throwing away my existence, from just trashing my life completely through all the ways that I used to sabotage my life. The drugs, the alcohol, the promiscuity, the foolishness, just everything. And the only thing that I can say is that this light stayed lit through divine intervention, because otherwise it would have gone out and I would not be here to shine for you today. So as of today, I have now been able to share my story in books, in a one-woman show, in videos, and I share my story with social workers that are going to work for the Department of Children and Family Services. I share my story about how if the social worker had known better, she could have done better. And my family, the families that I was placed into, would have been a lot more beneficial. And I would not have dealt with so much abuse. Every time I share my story with the social workers, they come away from that sharing with a determination that they are going to do whatever it takes to keep children safe. And that right there is my goal. I am determined to make sure that the social workers never place a child with a family that they don't feel comfortable with. If they don't feel like that family that child should be placed with that family, they don't place that child. And that's why I share my story. And I believe that to this day, it has made a difference. The social workers tell me, there are people that call me or send me messages and tell me about, because they heard my story, they made a difference. They took some action. And I believe that all of that is why my light stayed lit. So as a result, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Carrie. As you can see, our journey to become better speakers sometimes take us to a divergence in the road. We have to make a decision. How are we going to proceed? And in Toastmasters, we have an assistance. There is a path that we can take that is almost assured, and it's part of pathways. There are 11 different paths that can be taken. You choose the one that you want. And my assurance is that you will increase your speaking and it will help to build your confidence. You could hear that from the last speaker that we just had. Mr. Timer, could you give us 1 minute on the clock, please?
Time's up.
And now we're coming to a fun part of our meeting, which is table topics. But before we dive into table topics, I'd like to have our timer to explain the timing sequence that everyone will have to follow in order to answer a question. Mr. Timer.
Great. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The time for table topics will be from 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, you will see the green, 1.5 minutes, the yellow, and at 2 minutes, the red. And you will have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, sir. And our table topics master is Cassandra Garabedian. You have it, Cassandra, the floor is yours.
Okay, so now we're going to have some fun with some table topics. We had some great speeches that gave us some great examples of just how, when you come to that path less traveled, they gave some great examples. So now I'd like to ask for some volunteers for table topics. And if I don't get any volunteers, I will be so gracious as to select someone. So can I get some volunteers, please? Any hands? So for time constraints here, I'll just go and pick someone. Alex, can I select you? Do you mind answering a question here? Alex? Are you available?
I think Alex had to leave early.
Okay. How about Isaac, would you answer one for me?
Sure.
Okay. How do you feel when you take the path less traveled?
Thank you for that, Madam Table Topics Master. Actually, it's kind of scary to take the road less traveled. I recall a time when I actually got fired from a job, and I wanted to go back to the boss and plead for my job. And my wife said, "We don't need him. Let's do it on our own." And that's what I did. So I took the road less traveled by jumping out there with the advice of my wife to start our own business. And I'm happy to say that it turned out much better than I ever thought it would. But it was kind of scary because I really didn't want to do it. But I did do it. So it was a divergent from what I would have normally done, because normally I'm not very adventurous, shall I say. So it was a good experience. So yes, it's scary taking a road less traveled, but what I've come to believe is that when you do take it, it turns out a lot better than you ever thought it would. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
And thank you for that excellent answer, Isaac, being so truthful on that. Okay, so could I get one of our guests to volunteer to answer a question? Any takers?
Rhonda.
Rhonda has her hand up. Okay, thank you, Rhonda. What life lessons can you learn from, let's see, what life lessons, if you're familiar with the poem, would you say that you would learn from Robert Frost's poem?
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. I have read that poem a long while back, so I can't remember all the details. So I will go based on the theme of that particular poem. And I would say that one of the life lessons you can learn from the road less traveled is that it allows you to make that path for yourself, and a path for yourself that can teach you about yourself, and that although it may be divergent from the path that you had planned to take, that it allows you to experience more in life, to experience more fully in life, and to chart a path that at the end of it can let you know that you are bigger than you may thought you were, you are better than you may thought you may be, and that you have the courage to even go to further paths less traveled. The road less traveled allows you to expand your mind, to expand your heart, and to expand your mental capacity, or let's say your view of life. And it allows you to appreciate things that you would not have appreciated had you gone along the other convergent path as opposed to the divergent path. Thank you, Madam Topics Master.
Oh, thank you. Very, very nice answer. Thank you so much. And can I get a volunteer from another guest for the last question?
Apana has a raised hand.
Okay, Opana, thank you so much.
I'm not a
Now-
guest.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Taking the two answers that the last two, the guest and Isaac had answered, how would you put the two together for our pathways? Are you familiar with pathways? And what Dee Marie, our Toastmaster, had put together as far as saying what the pathways and how it puts together an environment that's conducive to learning, for leadership and communications.
Well, thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for that question. And if I think about it, about both the answers, honestly, Isaac's answer connected with me in some ways. Also because of the pathway that I'm on, which is leadership mastery. I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I identify with that also because I'm an entrepreneur and I took the road less traveled when I decided to become an entrepreneur. I came from India with not a lot of money or resources, and I came here to study. However, over the years, as I traveled through time and space, I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, also which my father was, which was inspiring for me. And now I've been an entrepreneur for several years, and I've constantly pivoted where I've taken risks to try new things and to reinvent myself in different ways, which I'm also currently doing. And sometimes, frankly, they're scary to do. But I keep telling my son also that growth is at the edge of discomfort. So that's something I believe in, and that's the way I am wanting to forge ahead in life also. So that's my philosophy with going down and diverging along different paths to find your purpose in life, find meaning in life, and be the person you're meant to be in the world.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful answer. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, what a very informative set of questions that took us down a divergent path. We hadn't thought about that, and the questions took our speakers, had them to reach inside themselves. And I think of that divergent path as stepping outside your comfort zone, doing something different, knowing that, as Alpina said, you have to forge ahead, and sometimes it is uncomfortable, but that is called growth. Very good. So our next order of business is to have our general evaluator to run the evaluation portion of the meeting. And she will conduct the evaluation section by inviting the timer and the evaluators to honor their roles and their positions. And that our general evaluator is Atifa. Atifa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Before I start my evaluation, I'd like to invite the timer to please give his report.
Okay. Well, the time for the evaluation is going to be 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, you will see the green, 2.5, the yellow, and at 3, the red, and you will have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you. May I also have the timer report for our speakers for the day?
Okay, sure. Maya Catherine's speech was 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Kelly's speech was 5 minutes and 39 seconds. Our table topics speaker Rhonda was 1 minute and 37 seconds. And Alpana's speech was 2 minutes and 7 seconds. And I didn't keep track of mine, but I was within time, I'm sure. Back to you.
Thank you.
Madam.
Thank you so much for that. Looks like we're all on time and mindful of time. May I please now call upon the grammarian to give her report? Sally Reyes, please.
So Sally is not here, but what I would like to do as the Toastmaster of the day is to ask everyone to unmute your mics and just say the word divergent. We're going to make it. Thank you. We're going to make it on that, although we didn't have a grammarian. So we will just say the word divergent. We are squared away. Back to you, General Evaluator.
The day, and we all enjoyed it, and we had it repeated many times over. Thank you for that. Now I'll call upon Evaluator 1, Rowan King, to evaluate the first speech of the day by Maya Catherine.
All right. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Maya Catherine. I would have to say that that was an amazing icebreaker speech. I don't think that I've really thought about phrasing an icebreaker as a sort of truths and lie, content, but it was a really unique way to present a lot of information about yourself. And I think that especially with the way that you started the speech, it was very engaging by asking those 2 questions to the audience, because everyone is kind of roped right into what you were saying, and we kind of got an idea with where it was going. But yeah, I think I'm very used to just presenting my information, saying it, and then I'm done. But I think that adding that little twist, especially at the end with the little lie, was a great way to make sure everyone was paying attention the whole time, but also to just keep it unique and, engaging. Then I think one thing that maybe you could work on a little bit is improving some vocal variety, because there were a ton of statements that had a lot of emotion or things that people could connect with. But I think that if you had a little more variety, it would be even more engaging to the audience, and it would really allow them to just connect with it a little more. But I think overall you did a really great job with it, and you made sure to keep eye contact, and you seemed very comfortable while you were talking. Then one more thing that maybe you could do to challenge yourself a little more is also work on maybe creating some smooth transitions between your points, because I think the pauses were really good, but sometimes it was a little like stop and start. And so creating a smoother transition might make the whole speech flow a little better. But the other thing that it also did was you had great pacing throughout the whole speech, and you really finished in a good spot. So overall, I think that you had a very engaging speech with a very unique method of presenting that information. And I think that it was a phenomenal icebreaker speech for everyone to learn a little bit about you and yeah, just kind of get to know you. So thank you. And back to you, Madam Toast, or General Evaluator? I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was a wonderful evaluation, and especially because it's the first time around I hear, and it is only at a club like Leaders Worldwide where you have these kind of considerations that you are the first time evaluator, so you would be evaluated on your own evaluation, and I really, really appreciate that from our club. Adding to that evaluation, I'd like to really appreciate Maya Catherine for her speech, and it was a second icebreaker. Not many people know how to present that, including me. Yeah, when we come up with an icebreaker, the general impression is that it's the first and maiden speech, whereas the icebreaker is there for every pathway. So Maya found a beautiful way to tell us that this is not her first time around at Toastmasters. She found a beautiful way to connect. And I'd say that's kind of an, invention she has made, which I'd like to make use of in my future speeches. And she was a picture of, grace, beauty, energy, vivacity, whatnot. I really loved that. And who wouldn't love the gamification? She used a game, the 5 truths and a lie, she called it. We have a shorter version of 3 truths and a lie, I guess, that we all know. And what I would suggest to take it one level further is, of course, I agree with Rowan that, the tone could have been variegated. Also, while giving away the lie, I had guessed that NASA is the lie, but while giving it away, she could have incorporated a little bit of a pause and a little bit of break there and created a bit of a suspense, and that had a lot of potential and wonderful work, I'd say. So now we move on to the evaluation of the second speaker, and for that, I'd like to call on the second evaluator, that is Maya for Carrie Kelly. Over to you, Maya.
Thank you so much. So I'm evaluating the second speech, and it was absolutely wonderful. When the speech started with the light and the song and the light, it totally got into our emotions and established that connection with the speaker. I looked at the speech details, and it was about connecting with the audience. And that was established right up front with the song and the light. One thing that was really admirable is that throughout the speech, the connection kept being made between the light and the story that she was saying. So the focus and the theme of the speech was present throughout the speech. I really thought that was great. Also, there was great association between the story and the purpose of the story by connecting, what happened to her work with people that, she wants to work and help the world. And that was really, well put together. I like the fact that the light remained, so we remembered it and we focused on it. And it was really, really great. I can say as far as, areas of, further development, I believe the Toastmaster of the day mentioned confidence, and I would echo that as well. And again, that is something that develops through time with repetition and with, giving speeches. So that will come along. It was, sometimes it felt it was a little lacking, but I never was bored. The story connected to my heart, and I think that it was well put together, well presented, and definitely had the connection with the audience, which was the whole point of the speech. Back to you, Toastmaster.
I'll take it from you there. Thank you, Maya, for that wonderful evaluation. And I'd like to add a few points of my own here, supporting what Maya just said about the prop, the light as, the image that is carried throughout from beginning to end, the different kinds of light, and the light being overshadowed and still shining through, and the general ambient lighting. So that was out of the world, I'd say, and she's always so ingenious, and hats off to Carrie Kelly for that part. Of course, the song, and she has a beautiful voice, and of course, the song she picked was also so wonderful, took us on a lyrical journey. Yeah, and then her story every time manages to give, I think, everybody goosebumps, and everybody makes us more aware about what is happening around us and how we should be conscious about little children and what they are going through, the impact she's achieving. So all out and out, I love that speech. One area which wasn't within her control was, of course, being spotlighted while she was waiting to speak, that I feel wasn't very comfortable for her. So we can avoid that in the future if the tech host can come in here. She was spotlighted before she took the stage, and that created a little bit of a uncomfortable moment, I guess. Otherwise, it was all out and out, a great delivery. And now to wind up, I'd like to just put in a few comments on my own. And Rosemary, always the angelic, sweet person opening our meetings. I'd also like to make a mention of Cynthia, who does so much of work in the background to make today's meeting a success all the time, each and every single time. She's there like the guardian angel over the club. The SAA doing a fabulous job as always. And, the timer, Isaac Ford, very much in control, very much the person we look up to keep up the format of the meeting. The Toastmaster of the day, Mary Shaiking, what to say about you, always in your elegant and commanding expert self. So you steered it through so nicely. And we had an overall air of cooperation, even when Cassandra was doing the table topics, nice table topics, looking for guests, welcoming guests, and when she's looking for people who are volunteering, we are helping each other out. There's this nice, friendly, amicable air in the in the club, and I overall thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Atika. I just want to say one thing, that I have my email address in the chat, because I want all the members who are not participating in Pathways to get in touch with me. Let's see what we need to do to help you step outside the box and understand that Pathways has the potential to actually change the trajectory of your life. It has changed my life. I kid you not. So let's see what we can do with Pathways. It's not as scary as it might seem, please. And now I'd like to turn this meeting back over to our illustrious president, Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, and all our role players, our speakers. Every time I hear Carrie Kelly's speech, it warms my heart to know that though someone went through such suffering and pain, she does not have that pain anymore, and she wants to help others. I wish there were more people like Carrie Kelly, not hiding their story, but using their story to empower others and empower the youth. I love the speeches. I love the evaluations. Rowan, you have boomerang. You haven't moved. You have leaped. And our Maya Catherine, always a darling. Our meeting will have an after party, so we're not going to take too long. Mr. Timer, how much more time do we have?
Well, according to the agenda, 6:30, so you got 10 minutes.
Okay, so in 10 minutes, we're going to remind our members and our guests that our meetings will be going on for 1 hour. We start 1 hour earlier. We meet at 5 your time, 8 our time, and that's to connect and to interact with each other so that we do not stay too long after the meeting, because we do not just want to come in, have a meeting and leave. We are all over the world, and this is how we connect, at least those for the evening twice a month, those for the daytime twice a month. And we are not in the same way. We can meet in person like before Zoom. Thanks to Zoom, we have made connections all over the world. And our connections is not just on WhatsApp, but where we meet here and interact with each other. So we would like you to come in at 5, and our meeting starts at 5:30 to 6:30. And we would like to hear from our guests since we have a little time. So can you tell us what you found about our meeting, what you liked, what can we improve in our meeting? I will ask Lynch to start us off.
Thank you, Madam President. You should be hearing me better now. I had a very good evening, and it is, it's usually good when I come to Leaders Worldwide. I think it's even better that you were able to pack that amount of content in that 1 hour. I think that was remarkable. So what I will be taking away is actually the agenda and trying to figure out how you all manage the magic tonight, and seeing how I could incorporate that to some extent at my other clubs to give that type of value in that type of time, because time is an asset and something that we all should appreciate, so that we can do that in the hour and still be able to connect, still be able to do the speeches, still be able to experience the table topics and impromptu and all the lessons we need to learn. I thought that was quite remarkable. So I'm really grateful that I was able to come in for tonight's meeting, on the first of you all doing a 1 hour meeting, to see how it went. And I thought it was quite a great success. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Our budding Toastmaster, Rona, can you tell us how you found our meeting?
I found the meeting quite inspiring in that, particularly the sharing of the adoption and the importance of caring and remaining human in these times where we're seemingly so all distracted in so many different directions. I would like to share a little bit of a poem, Maud Muller. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with it. It's just, I'm taking it somewhere in the middle or close to the end. And the weary wheel to a spin-set hump, the furrow muddle, an astral burned. And for him who sat by the chimney log, dating and grumbling to pipe and mug, a manly farm at her side she saw, and joy was duty and love was law. Then she took up her burden of life again, saying only, it might have been. Alas for maiden, alas for judge, for rich repunter and household drudge. God pity them both and pity us all, who vainly the dreams of youth recall. For all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are there are these, it might have been. And that's, in my view, going along with tonight's word. And it's important for us to take a chance with our life, with us, and walk, choose a road. And if a hole appears along that road, we go around it. We may fall once or twice, but we go around and we continue to trot on. So thank you again for the welcome and the invitation. And I'm getting better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that poem with us. At this time, I will call our meeting to a close. However, we would love you to remain with us for the next few minutes so that our Vice President Education can get our agenda going, because we have a goal, and our goal is to start that TED Talk, and we need our roles to be filled so that our angel can stop hovering over our meeting and start getting that TED Talk in queue for us to move up a notch. I now call on before our Vice President, our meeting has been called for a close. So now, normally, there's a lady who knows about a chocolate factory, and she would, she always has chocolates. As I say, I have fruits. So we are going to ask her to share chocolates with our guests and our speakers. Okay, Rohan, bye everyone who has to run.
And I wanted to say, congratulate Rowan and Maya Catherine for the success tonight. Rowan finished his level 1 with his evaluation. Let's give him a round of applause. Woo! And he's already started on level 2. He's 1/3 of the way through a level 2. And Maya Catherine completed an entire path and started a new one with their icebreaker. Woo! Wonderful, wonderful. And I'll just say that I'm going to give you all virtual chocolates. So whatever you want, just think about it and it will come your way with salt or with almonds, whatever you want. So here it comes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Enjoy your chocolates.
Okay, thank you. And so now, Toastmaster Vice President Education, Cassandra.
Yes. Okay, so now we have
But
to
I see
fill.
Afana once has to leave. Afana, would you like to sign up for a role for next meeting?
When is the next meeting? Is it next Monday?
Next Monday.
Next Monday in the afternoon, the 10:30. We start with mobile networking, and we start the meeting from 11 to 12. It's 1 hour also.
Okay. Well, what
we have our speakers.
Okay, so what roles are available?
Everything else.
Well, I can
table
do
topics, Toastmaster.
I can do table topics.
You want to? Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And then you'll have a theme that you'll let me know.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, it's
Thank you
great
so
to
much.
see
Thank
everybody.
you.
It was wonderful.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Okay, any other takers for any role? TMOD?
General
GM?
evaluator.
General
Cassandra.
evaluator? You want to be a general evaluator?
Marie, yes.
Great.
Okay.
And who wants to be our Toastmaster of the day? They'll come up with a theme. And then our grammarian can choose a word based on the theme. And we'll need one evaluator because we have 2 speakers. It's really too tight for the second speaker to be an evaluator also. So just the first evaluator, the first speaker will be of an evaluator, but the second speaker needs an evaluator for the first one. So we need an evaluator. And oh, yeah.
Who's that?
Dee Marie, you're
I'm saying bye to everybody. I have got to do. Great meeting. We pulled it off. Thank God for that.
Yes!
Okay.
Great job.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay. So we have general evaluator and we have Maya's a speaker again, and she will be an evaluator.
Maya is the speaker.
Speaker and evaluator. She's evaluator number 2. And Lynn Fraley is evaluator, is a speaker
Wait. Maya is a evaluator number 2. Okay, she's a speaker number 1 and evaluator number 2.
Yeah. And Lynn Fraley is the speaker number 2, and we'll need an evaluator.
Lynn Fraley.
Yeah.
Fraley.
Okay. And
Okay.
Atifa, it's too late, right, Atifa? It's a late night.
Yeah, it's very late for me.
Yeah, very late. Yeah. Okay, I think that's everybody.
Okay, so we have the TMOD that's open, grammarian.
Isaac, would you like to be a TMOD? It's the afternoon though. It's from 10:30 to 12 p.m.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to make the meeting.
Okay. We can probably find one later. Rosemary, you going to be at the meeting? Would you like a role?
I will not be able to make it on Monday.
Okay.
That's why I did not take a role.
That's all our roles. Okay. And we're going to try to get them signed up outside of the meeting so that we can have more time to network or just get on with our day.
Okay.
Great.
We're good.
That was amazing to finish in an hour. Wow. That was phenomenal.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.